It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend in the woods. Tom, a quiet, devoted single father, had promised his 9-year-old daughter Lily a fishing trip, just the two of them. Away from screens, noise, and distractions. They packed light, smiled for a quick photo at the edge of the forest, and set off toward a remote lake trail they'd hiked many times before. But this time, they never came back. When Tom and Lily didn't return by Monday, the family assumed. Maybe they lost track of time or their car broke down. But as hours turned into days, a full search began. Helicopters, dogs, volunteers, nothing. No footprints, no gear, no signs of struggle. It was as if they vanished into thin air. The only clue: a crumpled map found near the trailhead with a red X. Drawn miles off the main path somewhere no one remembered Tom ever going. 3 weeks passed with no answers. Then, a hunter walking deep through the woods spotted something unusual. Near a fallen tree, beneath a pile of leaves and brush, was a small, waterproof bag. Inside, it was a damaged but recoverable catamaran. What it captured would leave. Investigators stunned. The memory card inside held a series of photos and short video clips from their final hours. At first, it showed Tom and Lily laughing by the lake, but the last video, it was different. Blurry, shaky, and full of panic. The final few seconds left more questions than answers. And one chilling clue. The footage began like any other family outing. Tom was filming Lily as she proudly held up her fishing rod. Her boots too big for her small feet, laughing every time she stumbled near the edge of the water. They cooked a simple meal over a campfire, joked about bears, and talked about what kind of fish they might catch the next day. Everything felt normal, happy, even. But around the third clip, the mood shifted. The camera, now resting on a rock, picked up distant sounds, branches snapping, an echo that didn't quite belong. Tom glanced toward the trees more than once, clearly distracted, though he tried not to alarm Lily. In another clip, taken just before sunset, Tom speaks softly into the lens. "Something's not right," he says. "I think we're being followed. Might be nothing, but..." His voice trails off. The camera shakes slightly, as if he's moving fast, turning it off in a rush. Search teams had already combed the area where the camera was found, but now, with new coordinates tagged from the video's location data, they planned to return deeper into the woods. Meanwhile, investigators studied every second of the footage. One of the final images, just a few blurry frames, appeared to show something or someone in the background, just behind the trees. It was too dark to make out clearly. A T, but it was enough to raise alarms. Why didn't Tom try to leave sooner? A T, and who or what was waiting out there in the forest with them? As investigators combed through the footage again and again, they focused on the last clear clip. Tom's whisper to the camera. Asterisk, "I think someone's watching us." The voice wasn't panicked, but there was a tightness behind his words, like he was trying to stay calm for Lily's sake. Forest rangers familiar with the area said it wasn't unheard of for people to go off trail, but the spot where Tom set up camp wasn't listed on any official maps. Some believed he may have followed an animal trail, while others questioned if someone had lured him there intentionally. Meanwhile, Tom's sister Julia shared a troubling detail with investigators. Just days before the trip, Tom had received an anonymous letter in the mail. It was brief, only a sentence long. Asterisk, "There are things you need to see at the lake." Julia said Tom brushed it off, thinking it was a prank. But now, she wasn't so sure. Could that note have pushed him to visit that remote part of the woods? Locals began whispering about the area near the red X on the map, a place some hunters called the Quiet Pocket, a stretch of forest where radio signals fade and even GPS goes haywire. A place they said was easy to enter, but not easy to leave. The fact that the camera had somehow survived, buried and hidden so carefully, made people wonder, had Tom left it there on purpose? If so, what was he trying to protect? Or worse, who was he trying to warn? 2 search teams were sent back into the forest with the camera's GPS data in hand. The area was dense, almost untouched, with twisted trees and thick brush that slowed every step. The deeper they went, the quieter everything became. No birdsong, no wind, just silence. Even the radios began to fade, filled with static the farther. They moved toward the red X. That eerie quiet was what unsettled the team most. Meanwhile, Julia was handed a still image pulled from the final seconds of the camera footage. The blur in the background, once believed to be a shadow, now appeared more like a person, tall, still, and watching from between 2 trees. The figure was cloaked in something dark, with no clear face. One investigator pointed out that it hadn't moved in any of the frames, almost as if it was waiting. Later that day, one of the search teams radioed in. They'd found something shredded fabric that matched Tom's backpack, caught on a tree branch near a narrow drop-off into a ravine. Nearby, carved into the bark of a tree, were the letters L+D and a date that matched the weekend they disappeared. But there were no signs of a struggle. No blood, no gear. Just that one quiet message and a strange pattern of small rocks, arranged in a circle around the base of the tree as night began to fall. The team prepared to leave in, till one member spotted a single pink shoelace tangled in the undergrowth. The kind Lily wore. The search team froze when they saw the pink shoelace. It was looped around a thorny branch, oddly clean, as if it had been placed there, not torn off. As they moved closer, one of the men noticed something else, a trail of small rocks spaced evenly apart, leading deeper into the woods. Not random, not natural. It looked deliberate, almost like breadcrumbs. Reluctantly, they followed. The trail led to a narrow, overgrown path that didn't appear on any maps. As they moved farther from the marked search zone, one of the rangers found what looked like a handmade wooden marker, half buried in the dirt. Etched into it, in shaky handwriting, were 2 words. Asterisk, still here. Asterisk, back at the station, Julia received another update, one that shook her even more. A ranger had cross-referenced the red X with older forestry reports. The exact location had been marked decades ago during a missing persons case. A father and daughter had vanished there in 1992 under nearly identical circumstances. Same time of year, same quiet weather. Nothing was ever found back then, except a single shoe and a camera with a missing memory card. As the team pressed deeper into the forest, the air grew colder, heavy. The path ended at a clearing surrounded by towering trees. In the center stood a small wooden structure, almost like a shed, half covered in moss. They didn't see any movement, but one team member whispered, "There's a light inside." And then the radio went dead. The team approached the moss-covered structure slowly, weapons drawn and flashlights steady. The clearing was dead silent. No wind, no birds, just the soft crunch of boots on damp earth. They reached the shed. One ranger gripped the handle and slowly pulled the creaking door open. Inside, the room was dimly lit by a single battery lantern hanging from a nail. On the dirt floor sat a small sleeping bag, a rusted fishing pole, and a pink jacket neatly folded lilies. Next to it, a journal lay open. The first few pages were in Tom's handwriting. Asterisk, day 2. Lost the trail. Lily scared. Something's watching at night. Asterisk, asterisk, day 5. It comes closer. I don't sleep. She hasn't smiled since we heard the voices. But it was the last entry that sent a chill through the team. Day 9. I buried the camera. If you find this, we didn't leave. We couldn't. Asterisk, a low thud echoed behind them. One ranger spun around, nothing there. Then, from the tree line, a soft sound, a child's giggle. They raced outside, flashlights sweeping the dark woods. At the edge of the clearing, for just a second, they saw her. Lily, pale, barefoot, standing still beneath the trees. But when they called out, she turned and vanished into the shadows. Despite searching all night, they never found her. The next morning, back at base, the damaged journal was reviewed again. And at the very end, in different handwriting, just 3 words had been scrawled. Asterisk, leave her here. Asterisk. In the days that followed, search efforts in the area were quietly scaled back. Officials claimed the terrain was too unstable, and that continued operations could put more people at risk. Behind closed doors, though, the conversation was different. No one could explain how Lily had appeared and vanished without a trace, or how her belongings remained untouched after weeks in the wilderness. The handwriting in the final journal entry didn't match Tom's. Experts confirmed that. And yet, the words "leave her here" seemed final. Like a warning. Julia kept pushing for answers, but every agency involved offered only fragments. Yes, the camera was real. Yes, the structure existed. But no, there was no confirmed sighting of Lily. Eventually, the case was marked unresolved, but quietly moved into a restricted file. It was as if the forest itself had swallowed the truth. Months later, Julia hiked the trail alone, stopping near the fallen tree where the hunter first found the camera. She placed a small wooden cross there, carved with her brother and niece's names. As she stood in silence, a breeze passed through the trees, the first sound she'd heard in that spot since arriving. And then, just faintly, she heard laughter. A child's voice, far off, almost like an echo. She didn't follow it.